Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to absolutely shatter a really dangerous medical misconception about stomach cancer. Look, I think a lot of us just kind of assume that if we're seriously sick, our bodies are going to sound a massive, undeniable alarm right away, right? Like a siren going off. But when it comes to your stomach, waiting for that warning bell to ring, well, it might literally be the biggest mistake you can make. So today we're unpacking some top-tier, expert medical insights. We'll figure out exactly how this disease operates, how to spot its sneaky hidden clues, and most importantly, how we can just prevent the whole shebang altogether. Let's hit the ground running with this incredibly shocking number, 99%. Yeah, you heard that right. Clinical data shows that a staggering 99% of stomach cancers in Japanese people are directly linked to one specific bug, a bacteria called Helicobacter pylori, or just H. pylori for short. And the crazy thing? Despite this massive connection, hardly anyone actually knows this fact. This lack of awareness has some pretty devastating consequences, honestly, because stomach cancer is still the third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in Japan. It's this massive, completely silent threat.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, the frightening reality of stomach cancer. Number 2, 7 signs you can't ignore. Number 3, endoscopy versus barium. And number 4, early detection cures stomach cancer.
All right, Section 1, the frightening reality of stomach cancer.
We really need to tackle the core problem head-on here, and that means taking a hard, serious look at how stomach cancer actually behaves in its absolute infancy. And here's the most vital, absolutely crucial fact you need to understand. Stage 1 stomach cancer has 0 symptoms. Like, absolutely none. Zilch. See, cancer stages go from 1 to 4, based on how deep the tumor is and if it's spread around. In stage 1, the cancer is just resting in the very, very shallow layers of the stomach lining. And because it's so incredibly shallow, you feel totally fine. But listen, if you wait until you actually feel sick before going to the doctor, well, you've already missed that golden window where it can be safely and easily removed. Waiting for symptoms is, frankly, a deadly mistake.
Moving on to Section 2, 7 signs you can't ignore.
Okay, so if you are actually feeling discomfort, it unfortunately means the cancer has likely already progressed past that early shallow stage. Your body is officially sounding the alarm. Here's a quick overview of the 7 warning signs you absolutely cannot ignore. And let me be clear, even if just a single one of these applies to you, the medical advice from our sources is crystal clear. Seek a medical consultation immediately. No waiting around. Let's break down exactly what each of these looks and feels like so you know exactly what to watch out for.
First up is pain in the epigastrium. That's basically the pit of your stomach, right in the upper middle of your abdomen. The crucial takeaway here is that feeling a dull ache, a heavy sensation, or just outright pain right there, especially right after you eat or when you're totally fasting, is highly, highly suspicious. Now, stomach aches are super common, so people brush them off all the time. But medically speaking, this specific kind of pain is actually the most common self-reported symptom of hidden stomach cancer.
And that brings us to the second sign, which is anemia. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth does stomach cancer cause anemia? Well, it's pretty wild. As a tumor grows, it demands massive amounts of energy. So, to get that energy, the cancer basically forces your body to rapidly create brand new blood vessels. But because they're built in such a frantic rush, these new vessels are incredibly fragile. They break super easily and just bleed constantly right into your stomach. This chronic, hidden blood loss leads straight to severe anemia. We're talking dizziness, shortness of breath, and just constantly feeling lightheaded.
Sign number 3 is unintended weight loss. And the doctors actually give us a very specific metric to watch for here. Losing about 5% of your body weight in half a year without even trying to diet. To put that into perspective, if you weigh, say, 60 kilograms, dropping 3 kilograms effortlessly over 6 months is a massive red flag. Remember how we said cancer cells consume an enormous amount of your body's energy? Yeah, this is the result. If you or a loved one is suddenly slimming down without actually trying, it's definitely time to consult a doctor.
Moving on to the 4th sign. Look, if someone throws up blood, they instantly know it's a medical emergency, right? But what if your stool is black? So many people just ignore it, but honestly, it's the exact same emergency. When you bleed in your stomach, from those super fragile tumor vessels we just talked about, that blood travels all the way down through your digestive tract and turns into what doctors call tarry stool. It looks incredibly dark and muddy, literally exactly like coal tar. If you ever notice this alarming black consistency in the bathroom, do not flush it. Seriously. The doctors in our source material actually urge you to pull out your smartphone, snap a photo of it right then and there, and show your physician. I know it sounds gross, but it could absolutely save your life. Okay, let's look at signs 5 and 6 and see how this all builds. Early satiety and heartburn. There's this super common misconception that tumors are squishy or soft. Actually, scratch that. They are incredibly hard. When a tumor develops, the surrounding stomach tissue hardens up and totally loses its flexibility. So you eat just a few normal bites and suddenly you feel uncomfortably full or even nauseous. On top of that, if a big tumor acts like a literal roadblock at the top of your stomach acid has nowhere to go but up, and that causes severe heartburn. Please, whatever you do not mistakenly brush this off as just simple acid reflux from eating something spicy. Wrapping up our 7 signs, we have sudden blood sugar spikes and family history. Let's say you're eating normally, right? But a routine health check suddenly reveals skyrocketing blood sugar or even instant diabetes. That can actually be a sign of a hidden cancer interfering with your body's metabolism. Combine any of these symptoms we've talked about with a family history, meaning, a blood relative who's had stomach cancer or tested positive for H. pylori, and your personal risk factor just goes completely through the roof.
Section 3. Endoscopy versus barium.
Okay, so we've established the frightening reality and we know the warning signs. Now we enter the solution phase. How do you actually protect yourself? Well, for years, people drank this nasty, chalky white liquid for a barium test. But here's the thing. Barium only creates the shadow outline of your stomach, kind of like a mold. And because it only shows silhouettes, it notoriously misses those tiny, flat, early-stage lesions. In fact, studies show it largely fails to reduce mortality rates. An endoscopy, on the other hand? Absolute game changer. It's a high-performance camera that goes directly inside to look at the actual tissue in full high-def color. It catches the absolute smallest lesions, lets doctors take an immediate tissue biopsy right on the spot, and statistically, it cuts the mortality rate in half.
And the consensus from our medical source is absolute. To quote the doctor directly here, if I were to recommend it to family or friends, I would choose endoscopy without hesitation. The whole era of barium being the star of stomach cancer detection, yeah, that's firmly in the past. The endoscopy is for sure the definitive, life-saving tool you need.
Which brings us to Section 4. Early detection cures stomach cancer.
This is our final and honestly most empowering section, because this isn't just about finding the disease. It's about the fact that if you take proactive action, stomach cancer is highly, highly curable. If you find the cancer in stage 1, remember when you have 0 symptoms, you're a perfect candidate for endoscopic treatment. Thanks to just world-class medical technology, which is especially advanced in Japan since the disease is so prevalent there, doctors can slide specialized tiny tools right through the endoscope. They can safely and precisely carve out the tumor entirely from the inside of your stomach. There is no major abdominal surgery, no cutting open your belly. You keep your stomach and you get completely cured. It's incredible. So, what's your actual preventative path forward? It's literally just 2 simple steps. Step 1, get tested for H. pylori. Since we know it causes 99% of cases, eliminating this bacteria drastically lowers your risk right off the bat. Step 2, get an annual endoscopy. And hey, for those of you dreading the procedure, medical advancements have made it incredibly manageable today. They use these ultra-thin nasal cameras and mild sedatives so you barely feel a thing, just once a year. That is literally all it takes to guarantee early detection. We've seen how silent and aggressive this disease can be, but we've also seen exactly how easily it can be totally defeated if you just stay ahead of it. Don't wait for the pain in your stomach, or the unexpected weight loss, or the severe heartburn. Take control before stage 1 even has a chance to progress. So I'm going to leave you with this one life-saving question based on today's explainer. Will you get an endoscopy this year?